Hello everybody and welcome back to On Point HQ, and I think it's time for another Turnip28 video. I've not made one of these in quite a while, but at the weekend I was fortunate enough to be running a participation game of Turnip28 at our podcast's convention, and it drew quite a lot of interest. It was certainly very different to the other games that were being played throughout the shop, and yeah, there was a bit of interest in what the actual figures look like, because people know about Turnip28, but they hadn't really seen the figures that I'd made sort of up close. So yeah, it did a bit of intrigue and concern for them as well. But no, it was all taken in good humour. They're just very different to other game systems. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to make another video to show you exactly where I'm up to with my second Turnip28 regiment, which I've more or less fully completed. I will add links to the other Turnip videos in the description of this video. But in those videos you will see my first regiment, the 13th Cohort. They were loosely based on a more Napoleonic looking regiment. They had black powder era weapons, they had Napoleonic uniforms, and they look more regimented. So when I decided to do my second Turnip28 regiment, I wanted something a bit different to move away from that aesthetic. So what I opted for was a more sort of medieval look, a dark medieval look. So that's what I've gone with. So what I'm going to show you now is what I've done so far. Now, like I said, the other regiment was called the 13th Cohort. These chaps are called the Scions of Bdulph. I don't know why, it just sounds quite good. So let's have a look at what I've done so far. So as with any Turnip28 regiment, let's start with the TOF. So this is the chap in charge. There we go. Now this is a bit of an anomaly because it's an actual figure. It's I don't know who makes it. I don't know what game system it's from, but it was very kindly and very randomly sent to me by my good buddy Dom from Boots on the Table, a fellow co-host of the Plastic Crack podcast. And I don't know why, but he had this in his collection. And he said, could I make use of it? It did look very turnipy, and you know what? It really does. So the only thing I've really added to it is the obligatory tufts and growths on the back then. But I just think with the bowler hat and the plague mask and the rather disturbing broken teddy bear there and the bird, it certainly looks the part. So as soon as I received it, I was like, yep, I think I've just found the TOF to lead my new Turnip28 regiment, and it was this one here. So as with other Turnip28 regiments, you get your TOF, you need a couple of toadies. So these are the two that I've completed. Now these are based around, or have been built using two separate plastic kits. So the body is from the Frostgrave Cultist box, and the arms and the head are from the Living Dead Peasants by Fireforge Games. As you can see, he's not having the greatest of day, having his eye plucked out of his head by a rather nasty looking crow there. But these kits go together really well, and I love the arms and the heads from the Living Dead Peasants box there. The facial expressions are brilliant. They look very plague ridden. They've got, you know, weeping boils and pustules, and they look pretty grim. But that's what I like about Turnip28. It's definitely that look I'm going for. So that is the first toady. On to the second one, which looks suspiciously like it could be his brother. So again, dressed the same. We've got the Frostgrave Cultist's body and the Fireforge heads. Again, that plague look with the weeping sores, and again just the tufts added there. So as with the toadies in the previous regiment, and the TOF as well, what I've done is I've added them to oversized bases just to make them stand out a bit from the rest of the regiment, so it's clear, you know, who they are. These are the chaps, well, supposedly in charge. Likely to be found cowering behind the other units, but they are my two toadies. Now if you're familiar with Turnip28, you get one TOF who gets 2 units of followers, and each toady gets 1. So let's take a quick look at the 2 units of followers for my toff. So these chaps right here are a unit of brutes. So these are a step up from the usual fodder. They're a bit more. They're a bit more. They know what they're doing a bit more than the fodder, and this is reflected in better stats. I mean, they're still not great, but they're a step up. So these have been made largely using Perry's Miniatures 100 Years War and Wars of the Roses bits and pieces. So we've got the weapons, and again some of the arms and the heads are from the Fireforged Living Dead Peasants box. I've added their tufts to the back and multi-based them 6 to a base on this MDF base. Again, usual base material, mud and Vallejo mud and Vallejo water effect. So that is a unit of brutes. So it's just 6 in this unit, as they're a bit better than the other ones. But I really like the way they look. They've got a gnarly look about them. There we go. And the second unit of followers for the toff is a unit of fodder. Now these aren't so great. So again, these come in a unit of 12. I've put 6 on a base. So here we have, again, the bodies are from Perry's 100 Years War, heads from the other plastic kits as well, and they just go together really well. They really do. And I think that's definitely what appeals to me about Turnip, is the experimentation with the different plastic kits. There we go. So that's one stand of fodder, and here we have the other stand, which makes a unit of 12. Again, 6 to a base, and they've just got that really quite awful look to them. These are all armed with melee weapons as well. Well, farm tools, if you want to go with the best description for them. We got pitchforks and hoes and scythes and all kinds of weirdness in there. So those 2 units make up the followers for my toff. Now each toady gets one unit. So let's look at the first unit for one of the toadies. So again, these are more fodder, but these are armed with missile weapons, so a combination of longbows and crossbows. All the weapons come from Perry Miniatures 100 Years War, and they just go together really well with the other plastic kits. They look a right fearsome bunch, don't they? So missile weapons of this nature in Turnip aren't as effective as black powder weapons, but they do get to return fire multiple times during a game turn, which black powder weapons don't, because you need to reload them. It's always useful. Again, so 6 to a base, usual mud basing, and they look pretty fearsome, don't they? Okay, and the last unit for my toadies are a unit of chaff. Now these all rather look the same, and I did this on purpose. I wanted them to have a bit of uniformity about them, because these guys they're meant to be sharpshooters, skirmishing sharpshooters, so they're loosely based on the 95th rifles from the Napoleonic games. You couldn't get a unit further from being the 95th rifles, but I wanted something that sort of not mimicked them, but I could look at them and say, yes, that's what they're meant to be. So I gave them a green uniform, a green scheme. And again, these have been made by using Perry Miniatures with the Frostgrave cultist heads on there. I think they work quite well. So that's most of the regiment. Now the only other addition is, if I've mentioned this has been shown on another video, but if I wanted to run this as the Procession of Woe with a root shrine, I'm going to use this. So this will replace the toady, not the toady, the toff, sorry, in the list. And this has a number of bonuses. The main one being that it can it can remove and redistribute panic tokens from friendly units, which can be really handy because you don't want panic tokens on your units. So this is my root shrine. There's just something about a cart full of mud and bones with a rather manic preacher on top there. So that's my root shrine. Again, it's featured in a video before, and I will link to that in the description. And there we have it. That's my second Turnip28 regiment completed. What am I going to add to it? Cavalry. I think they're the only things that are really missing from this regiment. And having been on the receiving end of a cavalry charge on at the weekend, cavalry are really quite gnarly in games of Turnip28. So I think I'll be adding some of those at some point. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed another trip down Turnip28 lane. It's a game and an aesthetic and a system that I'm so enamoured with. I just love kit bashing. I love everything about it, and to actually get a couple of games in at the weekend was fantastic. It's a great rule system, and I would recommend downloading the rules for free, which you can do, and giving it a go yourself. In fact, a number of people who were at the convention on Saturday have said they're going to give Turnip28 a go from a purely kit bashing perspective. So hopefully we'll see a number of regiments at the next convention. You got any comments or questions about this or gaming in general, just leave them down below in the comments, and I'll certainly respond to all comments and questions. But as always, thanks for watching. Do take care, may your dice roll well, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So bye bye for now.